Can I speak? Let's see. Assalamu alaikum. Am I audible? Eshitilyapmanmi? Bu ovozimni eshityapsizmi? Good. Good evening, everyone. Assalamu alaikum again. Camera. Hi, everybody. I'm very happy to be here. And birinchi bo'lib ITP, IELTS ITP Uzbekistonga rahmat. Invite qilib speaker lesson o'tishga taklif qilishganligi uchun. Va bu chance menga zo'r opportunity berdi. Sababi IELTS Reading'da bilaman ko'pchilikning problemlari bor. Paperda problemlari bo'lgan, especially computer delivered testda ham problem bo'lyapti. Shular orasida o'zim tanigan ko'p o'quvchilarim ham bor va bularga online tarzda qanaqa qilib readingdan javoblarni, savollarga javoblarni to'g'ri topishni harakat. Undan keyin o'ziga confident bo'lib, ya'ni ishonchi yaxshi bo'lib topishiga o'rgatishimga chance bo'ldi. Shuning uchun rahmat kattakon ITP jamoasiga. Xudo xolisa bu darsdan keyin reading sizlarga sal ham osonroq bo'ladi. Qo'rqinchli narsasi yo'q. Albatta oxirida Q&A qilamiz, ya'ni question and answer session, savollar bo'lsa bemalol so'rasanglar bo'ladi. And I was informed, menga aytishdi, bu gruppani taxminan darajasi B2 deb, but anyway, I hope everybody here is ready to learn about reading, especially reading bo'yicha true, false, not given savol turlariga fokus qilamiz bugun. Ulug'bek, anywhere'ga poll qilsam bo'ladimi yoki o'zingiz qilib berasizmi? Просто so'ramoqchiman, true, false, not given kimda problemligini bilish uchun. Bu yerda anaqa I don't know how. Audio, video yaxshi bo'lgan bo'lsa, unda boshlayveramiz. So everything is good. Is it good? Yes? Okay. Great. Hop. Umid qilaman hammaning kayfiyati zo'r. I know it's Saturday. It's done. O'sha ikki kunlik uchun rahmat, xursandman. Okay, so let's get started. Men birinchi bo'lib sizlarga ozgina tips bermoqchiman, just in general reading uchun. IELTS topshirgan paytlarim readingni noto'g'ri qilganman. Birinchi topshirgan paytim 8 chiqqan overall. Undan keyin 2 marta topshirganimda 8,5, 8,5 va oxiri 9 chiqdi. Birinchi ikkita topshirganimda readingim 8,5 chiqdi ikkalovi, ikkinchi topshirganimda ikkalovi 9 chiqdi. Lekin birinchi topshirgan paytimda noto'g'ri qilgan ekanman readingni. Sababi hamma narsani o'qiganman. I'm a reader, I love to read, and berilgan 3 ta passageni maza qilib bemalol o'qib, tugatib, keyin qarasam vaqt kam qolganini bilib, keyin shoshib-pishib savollarga javob bergan edim. Now, ikkita narsa. Men noto'g'ri qilgan narsamni aytaman. Keyin men to'g'ri qilgan narsamni aytaman. Noto'g'ri qilgan narsani oxirigacha bemalol o'qiganim. Noto'g'ri nimaga? Bu narsani ko'pchilik o'ziga apply qila olmaydi. Sababi men ba'zan yaxshi bo'lgan ingliz tilidan, lekin O'zbekistonda ko'pchilikda bunaqa emas. Ko'pchilik ingliz tilini o'rganib, keyin sirazi IELTS topshirishadi. Agar siz ham hozir shu yo'lda ketayotgan bo'lsangiz, unda yaxshilab anaqa qiling. Men qilgan xatoni qilmaslikka harakat qiling. Birinchidan oxirigacha o'qishinglar shart emas readingda. Men shuni bugun sizlarga ko'rsataman, true, false, not given savol turlari bilan. Va yaxshi qilgan narsam shuki, comprehensionim yaxshi bo'lgani uchun savol turlari menga unaqa qiyin obstacle bo'lmagan. Asosiy narsa bu yerda comprehension yaxshi bo'lishi kerak. Lekin comprehension yaxshi bo'lish uchun tekstni boshdan oxirigacha o'qishinglar shart emas. Men hozir o'zim studentlarimga shu narsani o'rgataman. Tekstni boshdan oxirigacha o'qib, vaqtga qizishinglar shart emas. Keywordlar bor, strategiyalar bor. Shular o'qisam, sizlar ham xohlasa ishini tezroq bilib olishingiga, logically ishlab chiqishingiga yordam beradi. So let me share my screen. ekranimni share qilsam, keyin hozir. Okay. Okay, I hope everybody can see my screen. Yeah? If you see ancient people in Sahara, this is the right page. Alright, so birinchi bo'lib men sizga taxmin ko'rsatmoqchiman. Yes or not given savol turlari ham bor, true false not given savol turi ham bor. Bularning farqi asosan berilayotgan ma'lumotda, obviously. Ya'ni biz true false not givenni ko'pincha faktlarga ishlatamiz, ya'ni really hayotda bor narsa truth ga ishlatamiz. For example, mana bu highlighter sariq, bu truth. Tashkil qilishni xohlamaydiganidan bu tashkil bo'lib qolmaydi. Shuning uchun true false not given bor faktlarga asoslangan bo'ladi. Ko'pincha bu savollar qanaqa readingda tushadi? Ko'pincha scientific article'larda, scientific textlarda, qanaqadir research bo'lgan bo'lsa, shu researchni findinglarni tushuntirib beradigan textlarda bo'ladi. True false not given. Keyin ikkinchi turi bor, yes no not given. Yes no not given bu ko'pincha author, ya'ni yozayotgan odamni, writerni o'zini claimlari yoki o'zini opinionlariga asoslangan bo'ladi. Misol uchun, bu sariq flamaster desam, savol turi true false not given bo'ladi. Bu flamaster qanaqa zo'r yozishi haqida gapiradigan bo'lsam, unda bu meni fikrim bo'lishi mumkin. Bu eski flamaster bo'lishi mumkin, yangi bo'lishi shart emas. Eski bo'lsa ham zo'r yozadi desam, bu misol uchun it could be my opinion. Endi men sizga hozir simple example bilan shu narsani yaxshiroq tushuntirishga harakat qilaman. Aslida birinchi information berilgan text. Sam works in a bank. This is supposed to be Sam. Sam works in a bank. She enjoys her job but wants to travel next year. So I'm not going to translate because, we don't have to. I think this is very easy for everyone to understand, hopefully. By the way, lesson oxirida savol javob qilamiz. Xohlasa Q&A. O'sha nima savolinglar bo'lsa, hozir men so'rashim imkoni unaqa ko'p emas. O'shanga seqib tursanglar, yozib olsanglar, oxirida xudo xohlasa javob beraman. Sam works in a bank. She enjoys her job but she wants to travel next year. Uchta savol bor sizlarga. True false not given that. Birinchisi, Sam works in a school. Obviously, you can see she works in a bank. Bankda ishlaydi degani uchun ham bu statementga bu clearly teskari. It contradicts. Degani bu narsani negative qilib, yesni no qiladi. She does bo'lsa, she doesn't qiladigan idea bu contradiction. So, she works in a bank? No, she works in a school. That's why the answer here is false. She doesn't work in a bank. She doesn't work in a school. King said she wants to travel next year. Ikkinchi statement the Kurdic oxirida she enjoys her job. Ishini yaxshi ko'radi, but wants to travel next year. And this is clearly, basically, copies. Shuning uchun ham bu true. Uchinchisi, Sam's favorite country is France. Bu yerda France haqida hech nima narsa yozilmagan. Favorite countries nimaligi haqida ma'lumot yo'q. Shu information yoki true bo'lishi mumkin. Balki Fransiyani yaxshi ko'radi, yoki balki Fransiyani yaxshi ko'rmas. Nima bo'lishidan qat'iy nazar, bu ma'lumot bizga berilmagani uchun bizning javobimiz not given bo'ladi. Endi shundan so'ng qiyinroq example bor. Shu false not given bo'yicha desanglar ko'proq explanation bor. Okay? Bu yerda pretty much blatant text berilgan, lekin bu yerda ko'proq description bor. But still idealar bir xil. True false topish yo'llari bir xil. In recent years, electric cars have become increasingly popular due to growing concerns about climate change. So this is about electric cars and their effects on climate change. Okay? And before we read anymore, we're going to look at the questions. Chunki masaga bugun o'rgatadigan narsam shuki, sizlar keyword bilan ishlashni o'rganinglar. Keyword bilan ishlashni habit qilsanglar, ikkinchi tabiat, second nature qilsanglar, reading sizga ancha osonlashadi. So electric cars are becoming more common. Okay, we have the keywords. Electric cars, more common. And o'qigan joyimizda, they have become increasingly popular. the word popular, common degan so'zga bu yerda synonym bo'lib kelyapti. We have two synonyms. Of course, popular mashhur ma'nosi, common ko'p uchraydigan ma'nosi. Ikkalovini ma'nosi vaziyatga qarab ikki xil. To'g'rimi? Misol uchun aytaylik, IELTS is very popular. Misol uchun IELTS is a popular exam in Uzbekistan. Bu common bo'lishi mumkin, lekin common misol uchun sıfır exami ham bor misol uchun. So, berilayotgan vaziyat kontekstga qarab ma'nosi o'zgaradi. Lekin bu ma'noda they're becoming more common. Cars have become increasingly popular. O'shaning uchun ham the answer here is the same. Statementda bir xil. So this is true. All experts agree that electric cars are completely environmentally friendly. So we have a positive idea. Completely environmentally friendly. And the idea is all people, all experts agree. So we have nothing here but experts until this sentence. Mana shu sentence o'ziga qarasak bo'ladi. Some experts argue that producing the batteries used in these cars still causes significant environmental damage. The idea here is some experts argue that o'sha batareyalari environmental damage qiladi. Meaning damage is a negative word. So still causes means haliyam negative zarari bor. So, but here it says all experts agree. Hamma shu narsaga qo'shiladi. Lekin bu yerda ba'zi ekspertlar shunaqa deb aytadi. So the answer is no, not all experts agree with this. Shuning uchun ham javobi bu yerda teskari bo'lgani uchun ham false bo'lib chiqadi. Electric cars are cheaper to buy than petrol cars. So now we need to look for money, some kind of information about financial things. Electric carlarni petrol carga taqqoslagani va in terms of money ni topishimiz kerak. And clearly there is nothing here about money or petrol cars. That's why this information would be not given. Yana bitta slide'im bor about true false not given, but I'll show. Okay, whatever. Eating breakfast every day. Eating breakfast every day is important for good health. However, one second. Eating breakfast every day is important for good health. However, drinking coffee in the morning is not necessary. So the question is, the writer says, it's not really about facts, but it's about what the writer is telling you. Breakfast is important for health. And the first sentence there, we have the words breakfast and we have the word health. First, the idea important. And it says everyday breakfast is important. Clearly, the answer here would be yes. Everyone should drink coffee in the morning. We have the word coffee, we have the word morning. Now, idea, hamma ichish kerak ertalab coffee. But it says here, drinking coffee in the morning is not necessary, which means necessary emas, shart emas. That's why this answer, everyone should drink coffee, no, it's not necessary, would be no. Keyingisi, breakfast helps people concentrate better at work. So we need keywords like breakfast. And there's nothing here given to us about work. Therefore, the answer here would be not given. So, hozirgi basic narsani tushuntirdim. Endi hozir IELTS tekstlardan sizga preparation qilganlarim bor. First, I'm going to show you how. So, 4 ta tekstim bor. 4 ta tekstdan 3 tasi true false, bittasi not yes no not given. Here, the first one is called Ancient People in Sahara. Agar so'zlardan qiynalsanglar, misol uchun ancient so'zi nimaligini bilmasanglar, Sahara nimaligini bilmasanglar, for example, unda vocabulary ustida ishlaylar. Definitely English fundament kuchli qolishi kerak. Hozir English Uzbek aralashtirib ketiraman. Here, first thing you do is you look at the title. O'zi title nima deyapti? What is it about? Bu tekst o'zi nima haqida? Ancient people in Sahara. Sahara is actually a place in the, that's the common knowledge. And ancient people, if we don't know what the word ancient means, then you can read a little bit. Misol uchun, sal ko'proq o'qishlik kerak bo'lishi mumkin. But basically, some kind of group of people. Bu yerda hozir ancient, ya'ni qadimiy odamlar haqida shu Saharadagi. Titlni bilganingizdan keyin topic nima haqidaligini taxminan bilib olasizlar. Endi yana bitta etap bor, savolga qarashdan oldin. Bu har bitta paragrafni taxminan nima haqidaligini bilib olish. Buning uchun birinchi sentence'ni o'qib chiqsanglar, ko'z yugurtirib keywordlarni ko'rib chiqsanglar, bilib olasizlar qayerda nima ma'lumot berilgan. Organization qanaqaligini bilib olsanglar, savollarni topishinglar osonroq bo'ladi. The first part is on October 13, Paul Sereno, professor from the University of Chicago, guided a team of paleontologists to climb out of 3 broken Land Rovers, contented their water bottles, walked across a toffee-colored desert called Tanir Desert. So this is basically giving us shu kuni shu narsa bo'ldi. Ya'ni shu odam professor ekan, he guided a team of paleontologists to this desert. So paleontologists are people who study paleontology, who study like paleontology, fossils, basically fossils, bone study qilgan scientists. So they came to this desert. The rest of this paragraph should give you information about who odamlar nima qilgani kelgan haqida ma'lumot berishi kerak. And you can see here words like 120-degree heat, California-sized ocean of sand, Tanir Desert, dunes. We're giving information about this location. Being a paragraph, Mike Hetwer, photographer in the team, attracted by the amazing scenes and walked to several dunes to take photos of the amazing landscape. So this paragraph is about his photography. Yani nima haqida nimalarni ko'rdi, nimalarni rasmga oldi. Keyingisi, in the spring of 2005, Paul Sereno got in touch with Elena Garcia, a prestigious archaeologist at the University of Cassino in Italy, asking her to return to the site with him together. And we're talking about like 30 years in researching the history. We am another scientist, we am scientists, so they were going to do research together. This is probably about their working together. Birga collaboration qilgan haqida. Kings in the following 3 weeks, Sereno and Garcia sketched a detailed map of the distant site, which was dubbed Gobero after the Olas. This is about that map. O'sha map nima haqida yoki nimalarni qanaqa information bergan kartada, that kind of information is given. The next paragraph, she went back with some essential bones and artifacts, so shu bonelar haqida bo'ldi. In the fall of 2006, for the purpose of exhuming another 80 burials, these people had another trip to Gobero. So in the Goberoga borgan haqida, o'tda nima topishdi? Stoyanovsky concluded that the Tanarian were herders, which was consistent with the other scholars' dominant view of the lifestyle 6,000 years ago. So this is describing their lifestyle. The group lana, shuddik odamlarni, Tanarian odamlarni hayot haqida ma'lumot bergan. That's it. Shuni bilib olsanglar bo'ldi. Buni tez qilsa bo'ladi. Men hozir to'xtab qildim. Burroq qarab chiqib, qayerdan ma'lumot berganini bilib olsanglar, it's going to make your searching easier. So I'm going to show you another text now that has the questions. Let me just this one. So here I have true false marking. Put down keyword lashingza. The pictures of rock engravings. The keyword here is rock engravings and their pictures. Faqat bitta joyda ko'rdik picture haqida ma'lumot. Bu ham haligi kishi olgan rasmlari haqida edi. Lekin qaranglar, true false not given da savollar text tartibi bo'yicha beriladi. 99.9% of the time. So, misol uchun 15 ga bo'lgan savol pasticha teparog'ida chiqadi. 16-javob undan keyinroq, 17 undan keyin va hokazo. Sometimes agar 15 javobini topolmagan bo'lsanglar, lekin 16 javobi chiqib turgan bo'lsa, demak most likely 15 javobi not given bo'ladi. For example, we're looking for the pictures of rock engravings. Photography haqida eshitdik, lekin photography birinchi paragrafda emas edi. Keyinroq paragrafda chiqdi. But found in Green Sahara. Green Sahara is a keyword, chunki bu katta harf bilan yozilganligi uchun tekstdan topish osonroq. Qarayotgan paytingizda katta harf green Saharani qilasiz va o'sha so'z authors of rock engravings yoki shu haqida ma'lumot qidirasiz basically. I have to change my screen again, so 1 second. Here, ancient people in Sahara. Basically, if you look at the first sentence, sorry, the first paragraph, green Sahara degan so'zni topishimiz kerak. And I see near desert. I see earth, katta harfdan. I see California size, near desert. And here we're getting to the part about photography. But he's taking pictures of the landscape, of the dunes. And he's not in these bones, but there's nothing here about rock engravings. Birinchi paragrafda ham rock degan so'z ko'rinmayapti bizga. So the answer here, most likely, is not given. And not given bo'lgani uchun, we can go ahead and look for the second question. Sorry, let me just... There you go. Bir second. Text'ini shundoq quraylik yoqqa. Okay, so ikkita alohida ekran qilib qo'yganimga live streamda unaqa qilolmayman. So I'm just gonna close it. Okay, chiqdi. Bitta ekran bemalol ko'rsataman. Keyingi savolda we're asking about near desert. Near desert was quite a fertile area in Sahara desert. So bu ikkita keyword topsak bo'ladi. Near desert, bittasi katta harfdan topish osonroq, ikkinchisi Sahara desert. Mana shu ikkita so'zni bir-biridan topishimiz kerak. Bir-biridan bo'lgan sentence'ni topishimiz kerak va shu idea bog'liqki, this desert was fertile in the Sahara desert. Sahara ichida shu desert bo'lgan, but it was a fertile area. Fertile degan so'zni bilmasanglar, it's going to be a problem because bu juda ham common vocabulary word. Fertile, such as lively, yeah, jonli, anaqa qurib qaqshab ketmagan ma'nosida. So, near desert was a fertile area. And if you look, hozirgi ko'rgan paragrafimizdan, endi near desert haqida ma'lumot bor. Rock engravings haqida hech nima topmadik, lekin near desert ma'lumot mana bu yerdan boshlanadi. And you just look around that sentence. Near, one of the most barren areas on the earth. So here we have this adjective barren, and if you look at this one, there's this part, fertile, infertile domain for a few centuries. It's located on the southern flank of Sahara, according to the turbaned nomads, Tuareg, who have ruled this infertile domain. This infertile domain means this infertile land, this infertile place, location. So the question was, it was a fertile land, but with the negative land, infertile deb. But tepadayam, most barren areas deb. But barren is now another synonym for the word infertile. We're going to go back over here. It's not fertile. The answer here would be true. Here it was not given. King is a Hetwer. Hetwer haqida ko'rdik. He was a photographer. He found human remains in the desert by chance. So we need to find a place where we talk about Hetwer and human remains in the desert. And we found by chance. By chance means not on purpose. Atilaptamas, by accident, and human remains began there. It could be anything. If you remember, Halakordik, he was taking pictures of bones. So it could be human bones. He found them by chance. So we look over here, Mike that word, and he's a photographer. He takes photos of the amazing landscape. And you can see here, we have the word human bones at the bottom of the paragraph. So we just read that sentence and it should give us information. He says, I found some bones. To my great surprise, they don't belong to the dinosaurs, they're human bones. So he didn't really find human bones on purpose. Ularni qidirib ketmagan, dinosaur qidirgan probably the action bones. Therefore, the answer here would be false, because he did not find them. True, because he did find them by chance. Serino and Garcia have cooperated in some archaeological activities before studying ancient Sahara people. So we need to find these two people, Serino and Garcia. The scientists, they were working together. If you remember, uchinchi paragraph dedi. And bular haqida nima qilishimiz kerak? Qanaqa idea topishimiz kerak? They cooperated before. Yani they worked together before. That's the idea that we need to find. And buning uchun, all you do is you look here for both of their names. In the paragraph, we have Paul Serino got in touch with Elena Garcia. And he met her. He spoke to her. And shu atrofini qidirasizlar. Did they work together before? She's a prestigious archaeologist to return to the site with him together. Yani birga o'sha saytga qaytib borishligini so'radi. Like, let's go study together. And it says, after spending 30 years in researching the history of Nile and Sudan, with the mountains in the Libyan desert, Garcia got well acquainted with the life of the ancient people in Sahara. So, nimaga bu ayolni invite qilgan? Because she knows the life of those ancient people in Sahara. So, return to deganda, that's because she was there before. She learned that before. Shuning uchun endi qaytib borish joyiga deb uni invite qilgan. But ular oldin birga ishlashganmi shu project bo'yicha? Look at the next sentence. But she did not know Sereno before this exploration. Clearly, she did not know him. So they did not collaborate before on this studying ancient Sahara people. Okay, the answer here is false. And I hope this is for everyone, because we just finished text. And now I'm going to go on to the next one. Will we have a good one? Let's just do a quick check. Some people might get ko'rmayapti deb yozishibdi. Videoda ko'rmayapsiz deb yozishibdi. I think it's because I'm sharing my screen. Ekranim yoqqanim uchun bo'lishi mumkin. I don't know. Let's see. Ko'rinmayapti. Xo'p, some people ko'rinmayapti. Ulug'bek qarab olasizmi? Ekran ko'rinmayapti deyishyapti. Bilmadim nimaga. Agar ekran ko'rinmayotgan bo'lsa, probably video load qilishini sal kutishlik kerak. Endi shunchada so'rab ketdi. Load qilgan bo'lishi kerak. I hope everybody's here. So let's continue with the pearl. Pearl, if you know what that means, it's actually a bead. What the name is? Jemchuk deyiladi ruschada. Dur. And we only have 3 questions here. Now, let me tell you one thing. Agar ishlam bo'lsa shu narsani, true false not given, yes or not given, kamida bitta true bo'ladi, bitta false bo'ladi, bitta not given bo'ladi. Bu narsa true emas, it's not true, it's false. Sababi Now o'zim sinfda ham o'zim ko'p readinglar qilganimda sometimes 3 ta savol tushganida ikkitasi bir xil bo'lib qoladi. Bitta xil bo'lib chiqqan. Ko'p emas, bor. O'shanga hech bir so'z ishonmaydi. Agar bittasi true, bittasi false bo'lsa, uchinchisi demak not given ekan degan narsa yo'q. Alright, har doim use this and then get the best answer that you can. So, looking at this text, we're going to do the same thing with the Sahara text. We're going to go and analyze nima haqadaligini ko'ramiz. Obviously, bildik nima haqadaligini, but organize qilishimiz kerak. Shuni. So, in the passage about pearl, you expect to learn information about the pearl. O'zi pearl nima, qayerdan olinadi, qanaqa qilib I don't know, expensive yoki bilamiz turlari har xillari bor. So A, B, C, D, looking at A, the pearl has always been a special status in the rich and powerful all through the history. So this is kind of like historical information. B, pearl can generally be divided into 3 categories. So uchta kategoriyasi haqida ma'lumot. C, a cultured pearl undergoes the same process. So qanaqa the process bor? Cultured pearl ana shu processdan o'tadi. D, pearls can come from both salt and freshwater sources. So this paragraph is about pearls from salt and freshwater sources. E, no matter which method is used to get pearls, bu degani demak pearl olish uchun metodlar bor ekan, the process usually takes several years. Nima bo'lsa ham ancha yil vaqt olar ekan. Demak bu yerda mana yillarni ko'ryapsizlar, the time it takes to get pearls, vaqt haqida gap ketadi. Imitation pearls are another different story. So here we're talking about imitation pearls. Imitation comes from the verb imitate. Imitate means to copy. So copy pearls basically means fake pearls. So what the fake pearls haqida ma'lumot, ya'ni nimasi fake, qanaqa yaxshi emas, yomon emas. Several factors are taken into account to evaluate a pearl: size, shape, color, quality of surface, and luster. So mana shu factorlar haqida gap ketadi. H, historically, pearls with the highest quality around the globe are found in the Persian Gulf. So basically, qayerdan topiladi eng high quality pearllar. Shu joy haqida, ya'ni historically deyotgani uchun balki oldin shu locationdan qanaqa qilib topilgani haqida ma'lumot bo'lishi mumkin. That's it. Biz taxminan bilib oldik, comprehensionimiz ancha yaxshilandi. The pearl degan so'zdan tashqari nima haqidaligini bilib oldik. Endi xudo xolisa nima savol bo'lsa ham javobini at least topishimiz osonroq. Qayerdan qarashni bilamiz. So the first question for true, false, not given is, generally speaking, it's like overall, the center of cultured pearl. Is it a cultured pearl qayerda ko'rganmiz? Birinchi paragrafda emas edi, ikkinchi dedi. But looking for the center, the middle part, the center of cultured pearl is significantly larger. Mana shu idea kerak bizga. Than that of a natural pearl. So biza ikkita narsani topishimiz kerak. We need to find cultured pearl and natural pearl, va ularni centerini taqqoslagan joy topishimiz kerak. So we go back to pearl, and birinchi paragrafda emas, ikkinchi paragrafda we have the words natural, cultured, and imitation. If you remember, they were in 3 categories. So shu categoriyasidan mana uchalovini topdik. So what we do now is we just look for the information that we compare their center. Bir-biridan katta, kichkina, so large, smaller, larger, center, yana nima, core, in the middle degan so'zlar bilan, keywordlar bilan, lekin natural bilan cultured o'zgarmaydi. Shu keluvi bilan birga haligi so'zlarni qidirishimiz kerak. Mana bu yerda inside degan so'z bor. Inside a certain type of oyster. It's not about the pearl, it's about the oyster, the little sea animal, sea thing. And it's not giving us anything about the center. So, sigotams, a cultured pearl undergoes the same process. We were looking for cultured pearl, and we need to find natural pearl in the same sentence, ilaj busa. So here we have natural ones and cultured ones. So obviously, see the job was. But what it says is, there's only one difference between cultured and natural pearls. In cultured pearls, the irritant is a head called mother of pearl, placed in the oyster through surgical implantation. Okay, there's nothing about center being bigger yet. This results in much larger cores. There you go. Larger core means larger middle in cultivated plurals than those in natural plurals. So here we have all the keywords in the same sentence. We have already making sure that cultured plural o'rtasi natural pluralnikidan ancha katta. And we have that idea. Natural pluralga qaraganda cultured plural has larger cores. Core, if you don't know, it means the heart of something, or in this case, the center of something. Therefore, the answer is true, because next one, sometimes fake pearls can be more expensive. So now we need to find information about fake pearls. If you remember, fake degan so'zni nimaligini o'rgatdim. Bu yerda uchinchi natural, cultured degan imitation. We're going to look for the words imitation, fake pearls, and o'shani atrofida expensive degan ideani qidirishimiz kerak. So we're not gonna look for the word expensive. We might look for maybe dollar signs. Expensive demasdan values nechi mumkin. Values more, yoki costs more, has a higher price. So reading uchun albatta o'ylamanglar, intermediate gapni aslan kutib olmayman deb, chunki vocabulary yetmasa shu qismida qiynalasizlar, bilinib qoladi. Shuning uchun expensive degan so'zni boshqa variantlarni o'ylashinglar kerak bo'ladi. And then we go over here, look for the information about fake pearls. And we have information about imitation pearls. This was about salt water, freshwater pearls. Imitation haqida, I think we looked imitation right here in F. Imitation pearls are another different story. So let's see if we see anything about dollar cost or anything. Island of Mallorca in Spain is renowned for its imitation pearl industry. I'm just looking. O'qimayman, просто cost degan so'z yoki price, expensive degan so'zlarni qidirmayman, and I do not see it. It's not there. Even in the next paragraph, G, we talk about different factors to evaluate a pearl. So shutta bo'lishi mumkin. Evaluate means you look at the value. Size, shape, color, quality of surface and luster. But value decreasing. Okay. Here we have the word value decreasing. Yani value kamayib ketyapti. And natural pearls, cultured pearls, and imitation pearls, which basically are worthless. We have the word worthless, yani arzimaydi. But if you look closely, there's nothing about price or being more expensive. That's why we're going to say the answer is not here. So it would be not given. The size of the pearls produced in Japan. So Japan is a keyword. We need to find, it's easy to find the word Japan. And it's being compared to Australia. So we have to find the word Japan and Australia in the same sentence. Japan, size of the pearls produced in Japan. So the pearls from Japan are usually smaller than the pearls in Australia. So Japan and Australia, the pearl size and here we have the word Japan. Japan's Akoya pearls. And right under it, we have the word Australia. Given Japan's Akoya pearls are one of the glossiest pearls out there, while the South Sea water of Australia is a cradle to bigger pearls. Okay, here we have the word bigger. Size-wise, we have the keyword. Japan pearl, it says the pearls in Japan are smaller than pearls in Australia. So Australia and the South Sea water of Australia is a cradle. Cradle means like a basic. It's the birthplace of the hotspot to bigger pearls. Australia pearl, Japan pearl. So Australia is bigger. But but the idea, Japan pearl, Australia kichikroq. So So the answer here would be true, because Rastanam Australia kattaroq degani, Japanda kichikroq degani. Alright, so uchta javobimizni qilib bo'ldik. Now we're going to go on to the next one. Bundan keyin yana bitta tekstim bor. U yes no not givingga mo'ljallangan. how are deserts formed? So this is a new text that I'm going to show you. Desert degan so'zni bilasizlar, Sahara. And how are they formed? Ular qanaqa form qilingan? Demak, in a passage about how deserts are formed, you can expect information about the process of desert formation. Maybe information about climates, maybe different locations, and obviously, like a process that should tushuntirilgan bo'lishi kerak. Endi ko'ramiz. First sentence. A desert refers to a barren section of land. If you remember, barren degani infertile degani edi. Mainly in arid and semi-arid areas where there's no precipitation. No precipitation means no rain, no water. And the environment is hostile for any creature to inhabit. So, chikim ishlama yashamaydi u yerda. Demak, bu yerda qanchalik yomonligini aytyapti o'sha desert arealarni. B. In arid areas, arid means tepada ko'rdik. In arid and semi-arid areas, they make places that are kind of dry. There's not any covering of vegetation protecting the land. Sand, dust storms will frequently take place. So, sandstorm, dust storm, bo'ladigan joylar, quruq joylar. This is talking about those storms. Qanaqa qilib ular affect qilishini aytyapti. C. Tremendous deal of publicity on how severe desertification can be. So, desertification, qanchalik yomon bo'lishi, how severe, and there's a tremendous deal of publicity. Publicity means like being public. When, for example, PR deymiz-ku, PR qanchalik ko'p bo'lgani haqida ma'lumot. Here we can maybe hear information about it's often qanchalik publicity bo'lgani haqida, desertification qanchalik yomonligi haqida ma'lumot bilan bo'lishi mumkin. The livestock farming. Livestock is like live animals. Farming meaning chorvachilik. Livestock farming in semi-arid areas accelerates the erosion of soil and becomes one of the reasons for advancing desertification. So we're talking about erosion of soil and how it's affected by livestock farming. In this section, trees are of great importance. So this is about how trees are important. What's worse, even political conflicts. So this is about political conflicts and wars. In G, one of the states of America had a large section of farmland that had turned into a desert. So here we're talking about this place in America that turned into a desert. And now H, this is our paragraph. In society nowadays, new technologies are serving. So this is about those new technologies. Now we go to the questions. The first question we have is difficult to ascertain where the desert. Now we need to know the word ascertain, and basically, if you look at the word certain, aniq, ascertain therefore means to make it aniq, to make it known, to make it to confirm, to verify. It is difficult to verify. It is difficult to confirm where the deserts end in some areas. So, this is there. Not information bor. Ba'zi joylarda desert qattiq tugashi. It's difficult to figure that out. And we go back over to the text. Birinchi partida, if you remember, desertlar haqida ma'lumot bergan. Qanaqa form qilishi. There's no precipitation, environment is hostile. So the first question was, it's difficult to ascertain where the deserts end. Desert qattiq tugashini bilmaymiz. And if you look here, we have information about deserts. And here's some more information about desert here. Boundaries degan so'z bor. Where deserts end means that's the same word as boundary. In some places, if you remember, the question was in some areas. Ba'zi joylarda desertlarni qattiq tugashini bilmaymiz. So in some places, deserts have clear boundaries marked by rivers, mountains, or other landforms. So it says there are clear boundaries, but in some places. While in other places, there are no clear-cut borders. Hech qanaqa aniq chegara yo'q between desert and other landscape features. So some places chegara bor, some places chegara yo'q. And ikkinchi partiga bu to'g'ri keladi. So the answer here would be true. Things that the media means like paparazzi, right? The media is uninterested in the problems of desertification. If you remember, bu media desertificationga qismida degan ideani topishimiz kerak. Like they don't care about desertification and their problems. And if you look here, you will see about publicity in paragraph C. So there has been a tremendous deal of publicity on how severe desertification can be. So this is clearly contradictory to the statement that we have. Any publicity media is not interested. No, they are, because there's a big deal of publicity. Publicity. So the answer here would be false. Most common cause of desertification is the lack of rainfall. So we need to find the words rainfall. If you lack of rainfall and link it to the common cause. Desertification common cause is lack of rainfall. So here, precipitation causes desertification. A common misunderstanding is that a shortage of precipitation. Shortage of precipitation means lack of rainfall. Shortage of rain, not enough rain. So it's a misunderstanding, meaning this is not the cause of desertification. And you can see here, savolda, it's the most common cause. But the text says it's not. So the answer here would also be false. 24, farming animals in semi-arid areas will increase soil erosion. If you remember, we read about animals. It was the word livestock. And we read about erosion of soil. But it says farming animals will increase soil erosion in these areas. So we go down to the paragraph about livestock. Livestock farming in semi-arid areas accelerates erosion of soil. Accelerating soils. The answer would be true. Accelerates means to speed up. It will increase soil erosion. People in Asian countries. So Asian countries, repeat the word Asia, Asian is our keyword. They no longer use firewood as the chief fuel. So we have to find the part about Asia or Asian countries and link it with the word firewood. So people don't use this anymore. They no longer use this as a chief fuel. And looking at the next paragraphs, because true or false, we see the words Asian countries and firewood in the same sentence. In many Asian countries, firewood is the chief fuel used for cooking and heating. And the question was, they no longer use it, meaning hozir boshqa ishlatishmaydi. But we don't know because it says it is the main fuel but hozir ishlatishadimi yo'qmi buni qilmaymiz. Chief fuel is, ya'ni present simpleda hozir shu chief fuel degani bilan bu degani ular boshqa ishlatishyaptimi yoki yo'qmi buni aniqlash very risky. Shuning uchun the answer here would be not given. We don't know if they still use it or no longer use it. Oxirgisi technology haqida. If you remember, oxirgi paragraph was about technology. Technology, studying the relationship of people, livestock, and desertification has not yet been invented. Yani odamlarni, livestock, hayvonlarni va desertification haqida o'rganadigan technology hali yo'q. Invented means to be created. And if you look here, oxirgi paragraph about technology. In society nowadays, new technologies are serving as a method to resolve the problems brought by desertification. So they have technologies. Technology have not yet been invented. They do have technologies. Science have been utilized to investigate the influence that people and livestock have on planet Earth. So here we have the information. They do have those technologies. So jawabimiz would false. Okay. I hope this was understandable. And tushunarli bo'ldi degan umiddaman. Endi hozirgi yana bitta tekstim qoldi. Bu yes or not given haqida. Yes or not given ham same styleda, same strategy bilan qilinadi. Bitta farqini bilib olinglar. Yes or not given mani fikrim true false'ga qaraganda sal qiyinroq, sababi o'tda ko'proq logic ishlatishingiz kerak. First anaqa oq qora deb ko'rsatmagan. O'tda you have to deal with opinions, you have to deal with statements, o'sha statementlardan underlying meaningni topishlik kerak bo'ladi. Bu practice bilan albatta yengillashadi, osonlashadi. So the marketing and mind control. Hammasini bilamiz, marketing nimaligini. Hozir marketing is the big deal. Ko'p narsaga ishlatishadi. Mind control is like controlling your mind, like a mindset control. And to be more accurate, ko'rishimiz mumkin. Here's the text. And tagida subheading bor. How marketing and advertising appeal to the associative nature of the brain. So we're talking about the brain and marketing and advertising. And the word appeal means how it appears, like how it looks to the brain. Like the brain miga bularni qanaqa qabul qiladi. Advertising, reklama qilishi va marketing. So while there had been a long tradition of giving rings as a commitment to marry, custom of giving diamond engagement rings was in large part manufactured by one of the most effective marketing campaigns in history. There had been a long tradition of giving rings, right? Uzuk berish as a commitment to marry. So this part is kind of talking about there had long been a tradition. So qanaqadir background information, bizga backstory aytyapti. Oldin diamondlar qanaqa ko'ringan? Diamond, yes, that's a brilliant. Bu diamond uzunlar oldin qanaqa berilgan? Basically the history. And you can see here in the early 1900s bar, 1938 bar. So yillarni o'zidan qo'llasayda bo'ladi. This part is historical information. Next part, advertising comes in many forms. So qanaqa formlarda bo'ladi? Neon signs, products in movies. So this paragraph is about those different forms. And King said, why is marketing such an effective mind control technique? So this paragraph answers this question. Nimaga marketing shunchalik good at controlling somebody's mind? And King said, what many regard as the first documented examples of cultural learning in primates started with a clever monkey. So this one's about that monkey, pretty much. Learning by observation can be an extraordinarily valuable brain feature and perform motor skills. This is about learning by observation and how it could be so important for the brain. Component of advertising relies on the marketer's ability. A part of advertising, right? A part of advertising is dependent on the marketer's ability to tap into the brain's propensity for imitation. Now, imitation maligina haligi textda ko'rdik, fake degani. And when you're talking about people, and bu boshqa tema, fraud haqida emas, imitation bu ma'noda like copying somebody else, right? When you imitate someone, like you can imitate your role model. Like I try to imitate my role models. I try to be like them. I try to make decisions like them, for example. So when you imitate someone, you try to be like them. So when it says brain's propensity for imitation, that means the brain's capability to copy something. Brain's ability was a brain was a ability to imitate qilish uchun. So marketer's ability to tap into degani odamlarni qanchalik boshqalarga qarab ish qilishini o'rganish uchun marketerlarning abilitysi bor. Hope that translation is correct. King said, although not all researchers are convinced by the findings, number of studies indicate that some animals, so we're talking about some animals again, imitate dominant members of their group. So animals also imitate some members of their group. So what the we can see the word chimpanzee, the monkey. Imitation is undoubtedly an invaluable ability, but often our propensity to imitate generalizes indiscriminately, leading to poor decisions. So basically, poor decision go to imitate something. And I think there's one more paragraph left here. Go back to the text, the questions. And the first thing we have is diamond. The diamond campaign. Do you remember that was at the beginning of the passage? The diamond campaign worked by making a connection in people's minds between diamonds and luxury. So if you understood this, it means diamond campaign. Since we're talking about advertising and marketing, the word campaign means marketing project, marketing conception, idea. It worked, it was successful because it made a connection in people's minds between diamonds and luxury. So odamlar diamondlarni luxuryga bog'lagani haqida gap ketadi. So we go back and look at the very beginning where it talks about the diamond campaign. Here we have the information about diamond engagement rings. And if you look here, we have the word campaign right here. The campaign culminated with the slogan, "A diamond is forever." So but then we need to find the keywords, luxury and diamonds, and maybe there's some kind of connection. At the time, approach was unique. Rather than pushing a brand, the objective was to promote diamonds as a symbol of everlasting love. So we have diamonds, but they're being connected with love, not luxury. Okay? So clearly, what the luxury degan so'z yo'q. Shuning uchun, the answer here would be not false, but no. Okay? Please adashmanglar. True, false, not given is not the same as yes, no, not given. Examiner, true deb yozib qo'ysangiz, and yes demoqchi bo'lgan duniyda. They will not. So easily, silly mistake qilib ballarni yo'qotmanglar. Shuning uchun, be very clear what kind of question you're answering. People are more aware of visual marketing than auditory marketing. And we have the keywords visual marketing, marketing that you can see, and auditory marketing. Comes from the word audio, marketing that you can hear. So people are more aware of the visual one. Yani ko'rganni yaxshiroq biladi, eshitganligiga qaraganda. So we go back, look for the words visual and auditory. Birinchi paragraph was about diamonds and love and associations. And if you look at the second paragraph, it talks about advertising comes in many forms, right? There's visual and auditory. And right here, we have the auditory. I know I'm missing, okay, right here. Our visual system. So they're both next to each other. Bizani ideamiz, visual system was stronger, right? People are more aware of the visual. Visual system is targeted by an avalanche of information on the internet. Avalanche, it's like lots of snow falling from a mountain. So it's like targeted by a lot of information on the internet. Street posters, billboards, and in movie theaters. So visual system is targeted. Odamlar shu narsadan ko'proq aware degan ma'lumot emas. Prosta visual system mana shunaqa narsalarga duch keladi deyapti. Our auditory system submits to catchy radio jingles and telemarketers. Catchy radio jingle degani televizorda, radioda eshitadigan muzikalar, reklamaga muzikalarni ko'proq o'rganib qoladi. Submits to them. And telemarketers, reklama qiladigan odamlarga o'rganib qoladi eshitishga. And here we're talking about olfactory system, and I don't see anything about comparison. Odamlar qaysi biriga ko'proq aware bo'lgan haqida ma'lumot yo'q. Therefore, my answer is not given. It's just not there. Visual marketing qanaqaligini aytgan. Auditory marketing nimaligini aytgan, but they're not comparing each other. The campaign advertising diamonds had a positive influence on society. So now we're talking about society. Ularga bo'lgan influence from that campaign about diamonds. So birinchi o'qigan diamond campaign yana qaytib ko'rinish kerak bizga. Tekstda chiqish kerak va endi odamlarga bu yaxshi aniq qoldirgan, yaxshi influence ta'sir ko'rsatgan degan ideani topishimiz kerak societyga. And before we do that, here's another, the word diamond is forever campaign. Mana shu page kerak. Can be so successful that they change the fabric of our culture. So society wants, maybe it says culture. But it left a positive influence. Positive influence bo'ldi. They changed the fabric of the culture, but it's not saying influence positive or negative. Therefore, bunga ham javobimiz not given. Because we don't know. King said there's still some uncertainty about whether animals, we read about animals, copy the behavior of the most powerful animals among them. Remember, it was about animals copying other animals in their groups. So this is the same section. More dominant of ishkanide. And now we're looking at the most powerful, which is the same mano. So we're going to go look for the words animals or behavior. In the paragraph, they talk about animals, but it's about human susceptibility to advertising, where animals advertising the nasasa. And here, not all researchers are convinced by the findings. A number of studies indicate that some animals also imitate dominant members of their group. So right here's our answer. And I think the question was, there's still some uncertainty. So not all researchers are convinced. But a number of studies, they indicate that some animals imitate the dominant members or the strong members of their group. So the answer here, not all researchers are convinced, means yes. So the answer is not true, but yes. Okay. Also, does the consumers make logical connection between celebrities, achievements, and products they promote? So obviously, everybody knows the word celebrities, mashhur people, and their achievements. Ular erishgan yutuqlari va products they promote. Ular reklama qiladigan produktlar, narsalar. But consumers make a logical connection. This is what we're trying to find. There's a logical connection between the link bar that people thought of between the celebrities' achievements and the products that they're showing, that they're advertising. And if we look at the paragraph after this section right here, it should tell us about that. And well, here we have the word athlete. Let's see. Okay, people appear in advertisements asking us to buy laptops or sports drinks that they promote. So here's information. We're talking about sports athletes. They're also famous people, celebrities of each other. They appear in advertisement asking us, not yours, asking us to buy the things that they have, sports drink or laptops. I don't know, like a laptop randomly. Rationally, like logically, we know these people's success did not depend on these products. So here is our answer. Odamlarni reklama qilayotgan, successful people'larni, celebrity'larni reklama qilayotgan narsasiga odamlarni logical connectioni bor. Yani they think that people's success came from using those products. But it says here, we know, bilamiz, rationally, that people's success is not from these products, did not depend on those products. So clearly it's turibdi bizga. No, there is no logical connection. But odamlar bir-biriga ulanib ulamayapti because they know it's not because of those products. So the answer here is clearly no. Okay, so this ends my lesson. I hope this was useful. Yes or not given, but true, false not given. Qiyin savollar emas. Trust me, undan qiyin savollar bor, like multiple choice or matching headings. Lekin ular really qiyin emas. To be honest, agar qayerdan nimani topishni bilib olsanglar, keywordlarni qanaqa qilib belgilashni bilib olsanglar, to'g'ri joydan topishni bilib olsanglar, oson bo'ladi. Javobni topish vaqtdan yetasizlar. Yana bitta advice beraman. Hozir IELTS and the computer delivered test bo'ldi. Lekin ko'pchilik paper testda highlight qilishga, underline qilishga o'rganib qolgan. So if you look, agar o'zingizdan shunaqa bo'lsangiz bilasiz, hammasi o'zi underline qilib chiqishadi yoki dumaloq belgilab chiqishadi, like it's important. So if, for example, if I underline all of these, right? If I highlight all of this, how is this going to help me find the answer? I have to process lots of information at the same time. o'zimga oson qilib, I just find the parts that I need to match. Misol uchun, the names of places, names of people, and numbers, locationlar, yoki keywords like fertile, for example, yoki cultured pearl, bular most likely synonym bilan bermaydi, paraphrase qilinmaydi. Shuning uchun iloji boricha keywordlarni mana shunaqa deb belgilab, shu so'zlar bilan topishga harakat qilinglar. Prosta ideani match qilinglar. Bundan hozir keyin hammasi easy peasy. All right, let me stop sharing my screen, and if you have any questions, I guess I'll be happy to answer them. I hope the lesson was useful. And 1 second. I think so. Share screen. So, agar telefonda ko'rayotgan bo'lsangiz, ko'rmagan bo'lishi mumkin, but I think I shared the screen. I don't know why you can't see. You guys can ask questions. I think we have some people here raising their hands. Siz ularni lab qilasizmi yoki qanaqa? Behruzbek, you can oh sorry. Behruzbek gapirmoqchilar. Ulug'bek, o'zingiz allow qilasizmi yoki nima bo'ladi? Savolni qayerdan so'rashadi? Qarab olasizmi shunga? Menga kommentlar ko'rinyapti. Nima qayerdan ko'rishni kommentlarni? Ro'yxatdan. Yoki Telegramdanmi? Qayerdadir comment yozayotgan bo'lsanglar, guys, I'm so sorry. I don't see any comments. And I don't know how to see them. Yeah, no. Ko'rinmayapti menga bu commentlar. Okay, guys, I guess if you have any questions, manimcha IDP orqali, Telegram kanaliga orqali ko'ra olaman. And albatta savollar bo'lsa javob berishga harakat qilaman. Shu kanal orqali. Right, hammaga rahmat. Bugun kelganingiz uchun, and I'm very happy to have had this chance. And thanks everyone. I hope you all have a great weekend and a great week next week.